Hey everyone. Like many of you, I've chosen a different path, one that doesn't involve a traditional college degree. Instead, I'm building my own skills and career day by day. This video is a look into what one of those days looks like for me, starting with a clear checklist of tasks I plan to tackle. First up on the list was diving into my machine learning lectures. I got through 2 of them, focusing on the core concepts of hypothesis testing and confidence intervals. We covered how to define a null and an alternate hypothesis and learned that we have to be at least 95% confident in our results. I learned about the different types of tests we can perform: the z-test, t-test, chi-square test, and ANOVA. We also went deep into what a confidence interval is, which is basically a range of values where we expect our population mean to lie. For example, if we have a set of data, we can calculate the average, the mean, and then use formulas to figure out the upper and lower limits of the confidence interval. We learned that most of the elements in our data set should fall within these boundaries, and anything outside of that range is considered an outlier. Based on these tests, we either reject the null hypothesis or simply fail to reject it. We also covered rejection and accepted regions and margins of error. We explored both one-tailed and two-tailed tests and learned how to use z-tables and t-tables to find the values we need, along with the concept of degrees of freedom. After a big push on the machine learning front, I shifted gears to do some trading. I analyzed other pairs like euro to US dollar and pound sterling to US dollar, but based on my analysis, I decided to take a short position on XAU/USD. That's gold. The market was very choppy due to anticipated rate cuts, and it went against my analysis. I ended up getting stopped out, losing around $60, or about 1% of my account. Thankfully, the loss was contained, and my account didn't get blown out. While the trade was running in the background, I jumped into my pending data structures and algorithms lecture. This is where I took on a more serious challenge, writing my own code for a linked list. This was a real mental workout. I was figuring out how to write functions to delete elements at the beginning, at the end, and at a specific location. I was figuring out the right terms to place, like head.self.head and head.next.next, and making notes to ensure everything was in the right order. After the trade, I decided to focus on what I could control. I dove into LeetCode, applying my new knowledge of linked lists to solve 3 practice questions. I even used some of the code I had written earlier as a reference. Then, it was time for my daily Duolingo session to practice German. I learned some fundamental conversational phrases, like how to address someone as Mr. or Mrs., and how to ask where someone is from. The lesson also taught me about the gendered nouns for professions, like professor versus professorin, that is a male and female professor, Arzt versus Arztin, a male and a female doctor, and Kellner, a waiter, and Kellnerin, a waitress. During the session, I also took on the Match Madness Challenge, which helped me climb to the 2nd spot on the leaderboard. I was so close to completing the final challenge, but my speed wasn't quite there yet. I'll get it next time. Next up was a trip to the gym. Since I couldn't film my workout, I'll walk you through it. It was leg day, and I hit it hard with some heavy sets of leg presses, quad extensions, hamstring curls, and calf raises. And oh God, it felt like walking down the stairs and the legs were shivering as if the lightning struck them. After legs, I moved on to triceps, giving them heavy volume, intensity, and a good stretch with 3 exercises: V-handle pull-downs, overhead extensions, and single-hand tricep push-downs. Back home, I fueled up with a meal and took some time to relax. My next task was reading. I'm currently going through Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins, and I hit my target of reading 10 pages. In this part of the book, Goggins talks about how a fixed mindset can get in the way. He tells a story about a short but determined teammate who was fueled by rage. The guy was performing well initially but became overconfident, and Goggins sensed he wouldn't make it. He was right. The man quit after being paired with bigger teammates, showing how a person's mindset can be their biggest obstacle. Goggins also explains the incredible physical limits of the human body, running for miles with broken shins and pushing through severe pain and sleep deprivation to complete SEALs training. Then came the evening trading session. After my earlier loss, I chose to stay out of the market. The price action wasn't looking good, and there was no sense in risking more. So, I switched my focus to another task on my list: stock analysis. I looked into 2 stocks, Chalet Hotels and Fortis Healthcare, checking for strong fundamentals, good growth, and a corruption-free management. The final task of the day was preparing for my quant studies. I took a test on linear algebra and quickly realized I was struggling with eigenvectors and eigenvalues. I immediately dove back into my notes and lectures to get a better grasp on those concepts. Finally, after a long day, it was time to edit this video. As a complete beginner with DaVinci Resolve, I didn't film this part. I spent more time than I expected just downloading, learning the basics, and trying to get everything to work. It was a steep learning curve, and the software even started lagging. I had to call it a night, but the work continued the next day, which is how I'm able to share this with you now. It was a packed day, and I completed most of my tasks, including burning over 300 calories just by walking. That was all for day 1. Peace out.